So, team number 5. The one and only is, and this was hard to put them this low. Detroit Lions. Change this background here. Let's see. There we go. Let's get it updated for the team that we're discussing. The Leos. Um, the Lions, 5th in the power rankings. So, by process of elimination, you can figure out that my top 4 teams, this is in no order, are the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Eagles. We'll find out over the next 2 weeks where they are actually ranked according to myself. But for the time being, the Lions are number 5. And honestly, 5-1, to me, you can make any argument to put them in any order. And I would not be just like blown away. 1 and 2, maybe a slightly above, 3, 4, and 5, but 1 through 5, any of them could win the Super Bowl, and it will not be a shock to anyone, or it shouldn't be. Detroit Lions, like I said, team number 5. Okay, so last season, 15-2. I mean, they were just blowing everyone out. There was no close games, it seemed like. Even when Jared Goff had his worst game, 5 interception on what was that, Sunday or Monday Night Football, they still win. No matter what happens, they were winning every game. 15-2. Their current over-under, though, is 10.5. That is, I mean, the books are just saying, hey, you play the Bears, the Packers, and the Vikings 6 times this season, so what are you going to do against them? But 10.5 over-under. They currently have the 5th best odds to be the champs, which is right where I have them, plus 1,000. Plus 475 to win the conference, which is second best odds behind the Philadelphia Eagles. They are the favorites to win their division, but at just plus 150, so it's kind of closer than what you think. They started 12-1 last year. I mean, there was really no ups and downs for this team. They just blew everybody out. They lost I think week 2 or something, and then just went on a heater for the entirety of the season. Head coach Dan Campbell. We know the history with Dan Campbell. We know how he feels about kneecaps. We know what he's going to do with this team. He's going to get them ready each and every week. Somehow this man has the best motivational speeches every single week of the entire season. New to this team are both coordinators. Offensive coordinator is now John Morton. Defense coordinator Kelvin Shepard. Both Ben Johnson, who we've been waiting for him to leave for years, are expecting him to leave each and every year. Finally out the door, goes to the division rival in the Bears. Kelvin Shepard steps up and is now defensive coordinator. Time for the that is not the correct team. The Detroit Lions depth chart. So, starting on the offensive side of the ball, and like I say for each one, if you're unfamiliar with what you're looking at these depth charts, the yellowish orange are the free agents that they signed in the offseason. The magenta, pink, purple, whatever color that is those are the draftees from this year, and the tealish green color are the undrafted free agents. This is definitely the fewest undrafted free agents I've seen on any team, on any depth chart since I've been doing this, and we're at 32 all the way to 5, so we've done 28 teams now. So, additions, starting on the offensive side of the ball. No real noteworthy free agent signings. They get some depth at center. I mean, that's it. This team is running it back, and I mean, why wouldn't they with all the weapons that they had last year? Defensive side of the ball, not many changes either. I mean, they go out and do make a big splashy signing by getting DJ Reed, 3-year, $48 million contract, which was 18th in average value at the time of signing. You look at his season last year; he was better than Sauce Gardner, who just broke the bank with his signing in New York. So them getting DJ Reed and replacing him from what they had in Carlton Davis, tough for them to lose Carlton Davis, but I do feel that as though they upgraded by getting DJ Reed. I'll talk about that more as we go on. But I mean, other than that, how many of these other players that they signed is going to see the field? Grant Stewart, probably not much. He's buried behind the injured Malcolm Rodriguez, Jack Campbell, and Alex Anzalone. So, yeah, we know how that's going to work out. Avante Maddox, he may see some work in the secondary, um, situationally maybe. But when we look at their draft, and they had a draft, one of impact, honestly. I mean, this is a very impactful draft for them, being a team that drafted as late as they did. They definitely had some impactful picks. First off, I did not expect them to take Tyleik Williams, the nose tackle, out of Ohio State. His NFL comp is B.J. Hill. Last year he had 100 tackles, 18 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks over the last 2 years. He's big and strong enough to occupy doubles. I mean, he's just a gap filler. And if you watch him, he does get off late to eventually get to the passer. So he's got a little bit of that in his game also. But when you look at this team, them stopping the run was one of their issues, which we're going to talk about in a moment. So the more you dig into the numbers, the less surprising it is that they went out and got Tyleik Williams in the first round. Second round, they get Tate Ratledge, the long flowing hair from Georgia, who is now expected to be their starting center, which is a lot to ask for a rookie player. But here we are. Going to be interesting. We're going to talk about Frank Ragnow in a minute, but Tate Ratledge is there. I'm guessing he's going to be starting at center. That was their second round. Third round, they go get a wide receiver. I mean, why are they getting a wide receiver? Maybe to replace Jameson Williams later on. But I mean, that's the gist of their draft. Of note, they get another wide receiver in the seventh round, another guard in the fifth round. I mean, Jared Goff is of the same ilk of Matthew Stafford, that he has to be upright for this offense to be functional. He is not a scrambler. He is terrible under pressure, which we will talk about momentarily. But yeah, they get Ahmed Hassanin out of Boise State in the sixth round. Curious to see what he does. Love to see him do something. Players that they lost. First and foremost, Frank Ragnow. I posted a video the other day or yesterday ranking the five worst or the five most impactful retirements of 2024 going into 2025, and Frank Ragnow was number one. His ability to call out or set up protections, call out blitzes, the rapport he had with Jared Goff is going to be something that is definitely lost. Not forgetting what he did in the run game and pass protection. So him being gone is a huge hit to the Detroit Lions. Defensive side of the ball, they lose to Darius Smith, who they signed. They saved $6 million. He was a good pass rusher. They lost Carlton Davis, who I talked about earlier, but they replaced him with DJ Reed, so it's not really a net loss. Strength on this team, the offense as a whole. They had the shortest third down to go in the NFL. I mean, the offense, we know what this offense did. It was just rolling at all times. No one could stop them at all. I mean, they were just amazing for the entirety of the season. Jared Goff, I mean, he had the most wins by any quarterback who did not draft that quarterback on that team. I mean, he was just amazing. You could go on and on about his stats. Amon-Ra St. Brown, their wide receiver one, he had 27 first downs against the blitz this season, which tied Mike Evans for the most. I mean, he was just Jared Goff's go-to target whenever you need somebody to get to the sticks. Right at the sticks, you just picture Amon-Ra St. Brown just catching, falling right there at the sticks so many times in the 2024 season. Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, this guy is just absolutely ridiculous. It kind of hurt me internally that they extended David Montgomery. I mean, I just want to see Jahmyr Gibbs for one full season, get the workload, be the bell cow, because this guy is just otherworldly with his talent. I mean, we could see 2,000, let's say 1,800 rush yards, 800 receiving yards, 100 receptions. I don't know. Like, I feel like he could just there is no stat limit on what he could do. He gained 10 or more yards, which is an explosive play on the ground, on 16% of his carries. That's one out of every six, roughly. One out of every six carries were 10 or more yards. Most in the league, obviously. Then they also have David Montgomery that I spoke of. I mean, he and Jahmyr Gibbs ranked first and second from carries from under center in success rate, 48 and 47%. I mean, this team was just ridiculous all around. Jamison Williams, the deep threat, he definitely improved in his second season. Oh, no, that was his third season. 573 receiving yards on passes with play action, second most in the NFL, just four behind Ladd McConkey. I mean, it's just they just have a plethora of weapons. Laporta's a weapon. I mean, he could be putting up 1,000 yards easy every season on another team who had less receiving threats on the field. The offensive line was a strength for sure. They do lose Ragnow, which we talked about. The run game should be fine. It was great to me that they were able to keep Hank Fraley as the offensive line coach, so they have some continuity. They did lose a lot of coaches. They lose Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn. They lose Tanner Engstrand, who was the pass game coordinator, who follows Aaron Glenn to New York. I'm just curious to see how much play action we're going to see. They were number one under Ben Johnson last year with play action. The defense is a strength, especially if Aiden Hutchinson is healthy. They were dead last in adjusted games lost on defense. So, I mean, and they were still like an average defense with all these backups. They were fourth in DVOA versus the pass. Let's see. Hold on. Let me back up a little bit. Let's go full screen for this. A strength for the Detroit Lions would be the defense. The defense is a strength if Aiden Hutchinson comes back and can be 100% like he was prior to the leg injury in 2024. They were dead last in adjusted games lost by their defensive side of the ball. But they were still able to produce an average defense on the field. They were fourth in DVOA versus the pass, sixth in EPA per play allowed. They have players outside of Aiden Hutchinson like Aleem McNeil, who is so underrated, especially in the run game, stopping the run. They have their linebackers who they caught so much from the media, sports media that is, and drafting Jack Campbell as early as they did 2 years ago, and he is what they projected him to be already. Amazing fit alongside Alex Anzalone. They also have Malcolm Rodriguez, third linebacker on this group. The secondary, they now have DJ Reed, who is an improvement from Carlton Davis. They still have Terrion Arnold. They have Ennis Rakestraw, Amik Robinson. I mean, this team can excel, especially with this defense also being a top 10 unit, just like the offense is. I mean, you look at Jack Campbell last year, he tackled opposing rushers for a loss of EPA 48 times on 277 run snaps. That's the second highest run stop rate amongst all players with 200 snaps on run defense. So, I mean, this guy like I said, he's already great. They don't have to blitz every play now that Aiden Hutchinson is back. They were 13th in yards allowed per play when they did blitz, but 29th whenever they didn't. I mean, it was a huge drop off. Dan Campbell being here is a strength. They have one of the best safety rooms. Like I was talking about the defense, and didn't even bring up Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. Kirby Joseph led the league in interceptions last year with 9. Brian Branch is just everywhere on the field. Whatever you need him to do, he's there. They are just all around amazing. Weaknesses. They also lost Kevin Zeitler. I forgot about him. Frank Ragnow. Ragnow was a top 2 center in the NFL. Now you got Tate Ratledge. Them losing both coordinators is definitely it may hurt them early in the season, but I feel like the foundation is there for them to be fine later in the season in the grand scheme of things. So I won't be surprised if they do not come out hot to start the season. The run stuff, weakness, like I said earlier, that's why they went and got Tyleik Williams in the first round. They were 31st in yards before contact per carry. So that means they gave up next to most yards before the opposing player was contacted whenever they ran the ball. But they were first in yards after contact. So whenever they started touching them, they were getting them down. That's thanks to Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone a lot. Weakness for his team is Jared Goff under pressure. He's second in QBR whenever he's in a clean pocket, but 20th whenever he's pressured. And when he was pressured on third down, he was 31st in QBR. And that QBR was at a number of 1.8. 1.8. That's it. Cap situation, $290 million committed, fifth least. They're still set up for the future when they got to pay Aiden Hutchinson soon. Top 5 players this year as far as contract: Goff, Decker, Amon Ra, Reader, and Hutchinson. DJ Reader. $48 million in cap space. I mean, there's no who are they signing? Who are they gonna bring in that's gonna be better than what they already have? Asante Samuel Jr. and that's it. There's nobody else available in free agency that they could go get. But that cap space, they're also keeping. They're gonna be paying Aiden Hutchinson probably soon. $24 million in dead cap. That's between Carlton Davis, Cam Sutton, and Frank Ragnow. Looking at their schedule. Oop, that's not their schedule. This is their schedule. They have the second hardest strength of schedule in the league. Opponent win percentage of 57.1. They were the fourth team since 2000 to win 6 primetime games in a single season, and they're 11-2 in primetime games under Dan Campbell, which is the best of any team since 2021. All right, week 1 at Green Bay. They've dominated them as of late. Chicago, I don't think they're up to it yet. Baltimore, that's going to be a toss-up. Cleveland, they should win. Cincinnati, they don't have Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart. Yeah, they're not. I don't care how good the offense is. Kansas City, we'll say they split between Kansas City and Baltimore. Tampa Bay should win a bye Monday Night Football. Minnesota, let's say they split it. Week 10, we're at Washington. That's going to be a tough one. Detroit became the first team in NFL history to lose a playoff game when having 300 or more pass yards, 200 more rush yards, as well as the second 15-win team to lose their first playoff game. So, not ideal. Philadelphia, I mean, they got a tough schedule here. Counted as a loss. Sunday Night Football. New York Giants should win that one. Green Bay, like I said, they dominated as of late. Dallas, they should win. The Rams, yeah. Pittsburgh, yeah. Minnesota said they're going to split, and if they might sweep the Chicago Bears. So, I mean, those final 3 games are really going to play an important role for them. I mean, especially the final 2 in the division. But, I mean, that puts them at around at about 13-4 is what I'm projecting. I mean, they have the second hardest strength of schedule. So, I mean, 12-5 wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility, especially if the teams in the NFC North just continue to beat up on each other and nobody ever really jumps out in a huge lead as far as the record goes. I mean, first place could be 12-5 and last place could be 7-10. Could we see something where we have 8-9, 9-8, 10-7, 11-6? I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility because at the end of the season, if you tell me, every team split against every other team in the division, least surprising thing. There's tiers to these teams because I have them ranked. Let's see. I have Detroit at 5, Green Bay at 9, Minnesota at 13, and Chicago at 16. So this has to be I had to look at it and add it all up, but it's maybe the highest ranked division average for any division in NFL. I'm looking here. The Raiders are too low. They take out this one for the AFC West. Commanders. Yeah, it's probably the highest ranked division that I have. Okay. So, like I did with the Rams earlier, went through and looked at which players were most likely to get MVP, not most improved player, MVP, and all the other awards. Jared Goff's at plus 3,000. I just don't know how he can improve enough on his stat line to be able to get MVP. I mean, he'd had to put up 60 touchdowns. I mean, he was so great last year, and he didn't get it last year. So, I mean, he has too many weapons around him too. Jahmyr Gibbs has second best odds as Offensive Player of the Year. The only thing that's going to hold him back is the number of touches he gets in comparison to David Montgomery. But they put so many points on the scoreboard every single week that he has the opportunity to still get touches in this offense. Aiden Hutchinson had the best odds for Defensive Player of the Year, which I thought was this is beyond me. Is he a great player? Absolutely, but he's coming off of a broken leg, and he has the best odds. I mean, maybe because Myles Garrett, the fatigue is there. Patrick Surtain, I think I want to say he's like plus 2,000, plus 3,000. I mean, he just won. Nobody wants to see it again, maybe, but plus 650 best odds was wild to me. The rookie wide receiver had the best offensive player of the year. He's not having. Tyleik Williams plus 5,000. If he can come in and be a run stopper early and often for this team, could get him up there. But I mean, a defensive tackle is going to be hard for him to get defensive player of the year. Dan Campbell at plus 2,200. He had better odds than Sean McVay for coach of the year. I don't know how it happens. They'd have to go 17-0, honestly. I mean, 16-1 might would get it, but I mean, they've already proven that they're a great regular season team. So it would be hard for me to be convinced that the voters would give it to Dan Campbell. Most improved player on this team, the health of the team, the personal trainer, the health side of the Detroit Lions. Drop off candidates, Kirby Joseph. Am I saying he's going to be a bad player? Absolutely not. But you know how hard it is to get 9 interceptions in a season? You know how hard it is to do that in back-to-back seasons? Just don't see it. X factor, the health of this team. We've already discussed this ad nauseum. Best outcome for this team? Winning the Super Bowl. I mean, obviously, the best outcome for the Detroit Lions is to win the Super Bowl. Is that feasible? Absolutely. Did they lose both coordinators? Yes. Is that going to hurt them to start the beginning of the season? Possibly, and very likely. It may make them go 3-1 instead of 4-0, but the foundation that Dan Campbell has laid in Detroit is going to stay there. These players are the same players that are returning. They did not lose anyone of note outside of Frank Ragnow. They lost Carlton Davis, but they replaced him with DJ Reed, who is a better player in my opinion. So with that said, this offense should be a top 3 group. No regression, not enough regression to be lower than top 3. The defense, they were average last year, and that's with the most adjusted games lost on that side of the ball in the NFL. You get Aiden Hutchinson back. They drafted Tyleik Williams. They have the best safety room in the NFL between Kirby Joseph, who led the league in interceptions last year, and Brian Branch, who is just all over the field wherever you need him to be. You pair all that with a second-year Terrion Arnold, DJ Reed, like I already mentioned, outstanding linebacker core in Jack Campbell and Alex Anzalone. A top 5 is possible for this team, too, on the defensive side of the ball. So if you have a top 3 offense, top 5 defense, you should be in the Super Bowl. And that's what I do expect as a real possibility for the Detroit Lions in 2025. On the other side of that, worst case scenario, I think the floor for this team is probably 10-7 at worst, and I don't know what would happen for them to get 10-7. But my realistic and best outcome are pretty close. I mean, if 2 less players get hurt last year, they could be in the Super Bowl and they could be champions, and they could be number 1. They're only number 5, partly because they lost their coordinators. I mean, like, you could argue for them to be higher, and I wouldn't really have much pushback outside of maybe 1 or 2 teams. But if you put them 3, sure, sounds good to me. But that's what I think for the Detroit Lions. So, to recap, we are now all the way to the top 4. 2 more teams next week, and then 2 more the following week, and then we're going to start previewing the 2025 season, ranking positional groups, etc., etc. So, I want to thank everybody at Do Media, Do Champions. If you're a Buffalo Bills fan, that's what they focus on, what we focus on at Do Champions, Do Media. Please give them a follow on every social media account at Do Champions, especially on YouTube, where this is streamed, along with Twitch, Facebook, X, Kick. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. This episode will be reposted. It was already live as well. It will be on Apple Podcasts within a day or so. And until then, we are 47 days, 48 days from NFL kickoff, which hopefully will not be a blowout between the Cowboys and the Eagles. But until then, like, follow, subscribe, Let me know what I can do better. Always trying to improve. And we will catch you next week for teams 3 and 4. I wonder what everyone thinks. I would like to know what everyone's rankings are of the top 4 teams. I mean, I feel like it's consensus 4 or 5 in the top 4 and 5 between everybody. 5 for sure. I mean, it's we got the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs, Eagles, and the Lions top 5. I'm curious what most people's takes would be on that. I mean, I feel like it could be pretty close. I mean, like there's a real argument. I mean, the Chiefs are getting Rasheed Rice back, maybe. Um, they have Patrick Mahomes. Their offensive line's a little reshuffled. Uh, they still have Steve Spagnuolo. I mean, it's just hard to argue against that team whenever they still have Patrick Mahomes. He just can't be stopped for the majority of the time. The Eagles just won the Super Bowl. They basically have the same team minus the front 4. But I mean, we saw what they just did, so it's hard to count them out. Detroit Lions, we just discussed ad nauseum. Buffalo Bills had one of the best offseason signing the litany of players that they did. Uh, Missing maybe just a wide receiver, one X receiver. The Ravens, man, this team, their team on paper is quite easily. I mean, if you don't have them one, you have them two on paper for sure. As far as their roster goes, they filled every hole. That secondary, they get rid of Brandon Stevens, add Jair Alexander. They did lose Ardarius Washington to the injury, but then they add Malachi Starks. I mean, this team is just ridiculous. We already know what the offense is. So we will discuss those 4 teams over the next 2 weeks. Like I said, be sure to like, subscribe, let me know what I do, good, bad, and we'll see you then.